Hi, so I've just received my brand new Wilson Baiardo L. It's been out for just over a year now. However, not too many have actually gone to market purely down to lockdown, COVID. So I'm one of probably a few people to actually own one of these things at the moment. Been waiting for a little while for mine and delighted to finally have it. I've strung one racket on it so far, which was the first day I got it. Just to test it out, but I thought I'd talk you through a few key features. So first of all, it's exactly the same size as the original Baiardo, no difference in size. Main difference which you can visually see is the stand. So if we have a look at it here, it's significantly smaller and well, it's less wide than the original. Reason being is because although this is an electronic machine, it's not got the electronic tilt and height which you have on the standard full fat Baiardo. If I just run you through how to turn the thing on, another thing which you'll notice, so the switch is just underneath. It's going to count down to 0 just as it does its diagnostics, and then the tension head will go back and forward. So the main thing which you're going to notice is that instead of having the touch screen, which the original Baiardo has, this one's slightly different. It's very much aimed at ease of use, everything being very easily available rather than having to go into lots of different menus and things. So obviously you don't have the memory settings like you do on the original Baiardo, where you can change the automatic tilt and height on there depending on which user's using it. I'm the only one that's going to be using this machine, so that really wasn't a deciding factor in buying this. So in terms of the electronic tilt and height, for me, it's not an issue. I think if it was going to be me plus a few other people using it, then of course the Baiardo, the original, would have been much more of a consideration for me. So you can, if I just very quickly show you this, so in my tool tray, you can use this device here to plonk into this hole here. And I'm not sure if you can see, but if I just bring it in anti-clockwise or counterclockwise, as they say in America, the tabletop does tilt. It does raise somewhat as well, so you can twist it back. So it's a bit of a manual process, but to be honest, it's not that much of a deal for me because I generally tend to keep it the same anyway. So in terms of the actual functions on here, so very easy. Touch it, goes up in £half-pound increments, so I've got this set to pounds. One thing that's really good on this machine is you can change it to kilograms by holding down the kilogram key very quickly, and you don't need to go into any extra menus to do that. So it's very quick to do that, and it'll work it all out automatically for you. You've got the extra function here for when you're going to be doing final strings, so the knot function, so pre-knot, which is easy. So you click it on, it pulls, and then it just automatically reverts it back to your original tension. So that's a really handy feature, just to add that extra 10% on there. Sound, so you hold the sound button down, turn the sound off, put it back on if you want to. Pre-stretch, so it comes in 10, 20, and then back down to 0 again. So again, it's not often that you're going to pre-stretch a string, mainly with natural gut, some multi-filaments, or if you're just requested, but it's a useful feature. It's dead easy to get to. Then you've got string speeds. It's got 3 different speeds here, so I'll toggle through. I always have mine set to the fastest speed, so I know exactly what I'm doing. If you want to go into the settings function, you just hold down the settings key there, and there is a user guide which will tell you what F1C and all the others do. So it's dead easy. I'm just going to come out of that though, just by pressing the back button. So that's good enough for me. So everything's really easy to use. It's really easy to find. Tension head, puller is pretty much exactly the same. It's, again, quality is brilliant, really nice and solid. Put the string on, bring it back. Really easy to use there. It's not as quiet as some, but it's still not too noisy. Certainly it's nothing like as loud as the old Wise tension head which I had, which tended to be very loud. If you want to do a manual adjust, all you need to do is you need to just turn this knob here, pull the catch out here, and then lift the machine up. So you just push it up. I will give a word of warning though, although this is the light version, the main turntable and unit here is still something like 35-40 kilograms. So I've done it on my own with raising the height and lowering it, but it could be useful to have a second person on there, just because there's some serious weight on there and you don't want to damage yourself when doing it. It's a lot easier to set up in the original Baiardo because it doesn't have all the electronics that the Baiardo has with the automatic tilt and height adjuster. You don't have all of the cables feeding in below that you then need to clip into the motherboard and stuff. So it's literally a case of plonking it on and screwing some screws in. So there's 3 on each side to screw in. So it's a little bit easier. Again, I did it on my own. It could be helpful to have a second person there. They do recommend you use 2 people when actually putting the tabletop and the unit on top of the stand. So it is useful. So it does come with a word of warning to say that 2 people is advisable to do that. So I'm going to talk you through a few of the differences. So one of the reasons why I chose the L over the original Baiardo is they've changed the way the clamps work. So they're not the gravity release that you normally have on the Baiardo, but it's a brand new clamp system. So it's just a simple twist and then you flick it out to lock it. So just demonstrate there. So that's me locking it in, and you just touch it, flick it, and it locks back out. Really, really simple. The clamps are 5-tooth clamps. They're a lot smaller, a little bit thinner, and an awful lot lighter than the original Baiardo's clamps. I think certainly when Wilson designed this machine, they designed it with multi-rackets in mind, not just tennis. So you could use the original Baiardo easily for squash, badminton and others, but the clamps on here are, as you can see, an awful lot finer than the original Baiardo. So you've got 5-tooth replacing the originals. So I do lots and lots of squash rackets every year, as well as tennis, as well as badminton. Makes my life a little bit easier. The arms, again, very, very easy. You've got little signs here to use that as the throat for the racket when you're mounting it, and that for the head. It makes no difference which way you mount it up, but certainly if I'm doing 4 or 5 rackets for one person, just to keep complete consistency, what I'll probably do is just use it in exactly the same way, just so there's absolutely no margin for error at all. As we all know, consistency is the key when stringing. Another really, really cool thing, so for me, if I'm doing badminton rackets and some of the smaller headed squash rackets, a new feature which they've put is the movable pillars. So you can see this button here, there's one on the other side as well, and if you hold both of them in, it moves it forward just a little bit. So you can do that on both sides, and what that then means is that you can bring the arms in just a little bit closer. It gives a bit more support for the smaller frames as well. So it's a really, really useful function to have. Certainly something which was, I think, lacking maybe on the original Baiardo, if you're not stringing just tennis rackets. So very, very useful for me. It comes with a few extra clip trays, so clip-on trays. So got here, so I'll keep some starting clamps in here, some snippers, the trusty Parnell pads in String Doctor Pink down here, which are actually a really, really good addition here. So they protect the string, they protect the frame a bit as well when you're using starting clamps. We've got an additional clip-in holder here where you can keep some pliers, some cutters, so you're setting off all your finals, and then your adjuster in here, and you can plonk your mobile phone in that gap there. So nice and easy to use without having to leave your tools all spread around the place. Being Baiardo, it's Baiardo L, it's dead easy to change brakes and things like that on it. It's modular, so you can take components out, replace them, fix them, clean them off, you name it, whatever you want to do. As you can see here, this is a function here so that you can take off the base clamps, give them a bit of a dust off, bit of a clean. There is a degree of interchangeability with the clamps, it's slightly technical. Sometimes you have to change the railings or whatever, but it is possible to use the original Baiardo's clamps on this, or vice versa. But it will need, without going into the technicality of it, sometimes it will need a bit of a change of the actual rails that are on here in the first place. Very, very smooth, very easy to use. You can see it's all nice and free flowing. One thing that certainly I think Wilson has got licked over the competition, the quality build is absolutely second to none. It's really, really good. I mean, I know obviously Yonex and Babolat make great machines as well, and there are a few others in the market. But one thing which I really like about the Wilson machine is, first of all, it just looks a little bit different to other machines. But the build quality on it is exceptional. I mean, it's just really, really good. So I think those are the kind of key features to the new Wilson Baiardo L. Regarding stringing time and everything, it's, you know, if you're a good stringer, then the time that you make up is normally on the string bed itself when you're doing the weaves, certainly the cross weaves, knowing the patterns and the technique of actually doing it. But the tension head, the pull speed, everything is just very, very smooth. One other thing as well, you've got this tray here, which I know, I think Herb has mentioned it on some of his reviews as well, is a really nice idea. So you can just pull this this out, dust it off, hoover it, wash it, do whatever you want. That's a nice feature. The original Baiardo just came with a kind of felt or rubbery type tray under here, which could cut up, scratch up a little bit easier, and wasn't quite so easy to clean. That is dead easy to clean. So I think that's pretty much all I've got to say on it at the moment. Obviously the power unit, very, very simple, and just clips in there. Oh, the brake. So as with any top of the range machine, you get a brake as well. So the brake you just pull out and it'll lock the turntable in place. It's also got a friction brake on there, which I've got off, but if you put the friction brake on, then that just slows down the turntable a bit, makes it a bit more steady, especially useful if you are using the tilt mechanism. Again, I'll be switching mine off. I don't really see much of a need for that other than burning out the brake pads a little bit. You do get lots and lots of tools that come with this, so everything you need, you come with it. I've already got lots of Babolat kit, so the majority of my tools like this, the starting clamp, a Babolat, my snippers, my awls, my clippers, you name it. But they do give you, I think I've got it just in a bag here, so it's a bag full of tools, including, so I'll keep a few spares here, including some additional clips here which go on for badminton as well, which is pretty good. And they also give you a handy Baiardo bag, so you've got a Wilson Baiardo cover which can go over the top, so if you live in very cold or very hot conditions and you just want to protect your machine from the elements a bit, keep the moisture out, then you can put the Wilson Baiardo cover on top of that as well. So hope you enjoyed that brief run through, and any questions, give me a shout.